Hi there. I'm going to do a review for Alien versus Predator. This came out in 2004 and it was directed by Paul Wes Anderson. And this movie is kind of, well, when I first watched it, I thought this movie was going to be like a combination of bringing together the two different worlds, the one of Alien and the one of Predator. Sort of a mishmash because Predator had been a contemporary set of movies set in their time periods, and Alien was a movie set in the future. So theoretically, we thought Alien versus Predator was going to be more or less a combination of the two different worlds. Um, can't say. Well, I won't spoil anything for now, but more or less, this movie sort of attempts to do something like that. More or less, they're trying to locate. I believe what happens in this movie is they more or less. Somebody's been doing some beaming of satellite infrared information into the grounds under Antarctica and has sort of determined that there is something down there. There is something underneath Antarctica's frozen crust. And they figured it's some sort of archaeological site. So they go to all this trouble to assemble a team of characters. And of course, this is all under what is supposed to be the contemporary Bishop. From the Alien movies, you got that one guy, Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, you have Bishop. And he's supposed to be, this is supposed to be the original Bishop, the actual guy. So not a robot, nothing to do with that. Although in truth, in Alien 3, they do suggest that Bishop is actually a human being. Even in the future, there's still people that look like that. But in this movie, Bishop Wayland is basically the man. He's sending a team down to take a look at this stuff, and it's such a, I'm not sure how to describe this movie because it's got it's basically an action movie. It starts off relatively sluggish, as usual. They always have to start out a certain amount of sluggish. They have to do some introduction of characters, but honestly, none of the characters are stand out in this movie. This is trying to be Aliens and trying to be I think Predator at the same time, and it doesn't really do either of them very much justice. You have Sanaa Lathan playing Alexa Woods, and honestly, I'm not entirely sure. Well, I'm not even sure who the main character is supposed to be. Obviously, somebody was finishing in the last as the last character they met. There's so many people in this. I think there's Ewan Bremner, who I believe has been in other films. There's so many lost names in here. There's a bunch of names that sort of show up. Colin Solomon playing Maxwell Stafford, but none of these people, um, they're honestly so forgettable that I'm not even sure there's much to actually talk about in this film. They're such forgettable characters. The only guy that stands out is Lance Henriksen, and I think the only reason why he stands out to us in this movie is because of the Alien franchise. I don't even think it has anything to do with his performance in this movie because he's not given a lot of reason to be here. It's such an awkward film to watch in so many ways. This is years before, of course, Ridley Scott was going to attempt to reinvigorate the franchise in the 2010s. But nonetheless, this was what we had. Um, it sort of establishes that indeed there's archaeological digs underneath Antarctica, and indeed they actually go to the effort to dig a big hole, a perfect symmetrical hole down in the bottom of the world, and find a doorway. And of course, they find out there's a bunch of stuff down there. But it's of course a joke. The whole thing's a joke. They find out basically this is an abandoned ruin for like a play of sorts, alien versus like two alien races more or less, and they inadvertently basically awaken this. Well, actually, it doesn't help that the predator arrives. A predator just randomly decides to show up here and starts causing problems for everyone because of course it does. This is not like the Predator movies where the Predator is actually is sort of there already. This movie, the Predator is kind of just comes in because he's required to come in, and they have sort of discover that that the predators and the aliens have been the deaths of our civilizations. Supposedly that's what happened. That's not really what happened. I don't understand why they keep bringing that up. Supposedly it was the Mayans, I think, that got taken out by this pack. That was the most hilarious thing in this uh, in this storyline, is that they had the Mayans be a civilization that went down because the aliens overran their culture. Because they were so, what was the term to describe it? They viewed the predators as gods. And the predators, of course, took advantage of this concept. And of course, the Mayans decided and the Mayans played game to it, played host to these little aliens. And of course, the aliens wiped out the Mayans like nothing to it. It's just a hilarious movie to watch. It's almost a comedy in so many ways. So many of the characters just, it's almost a comedy. It's barely an action movie. It's more of a comedy because every time somebody does something, it ends up causing something to happen. This is not like the prior movies. In Predator, people didn't cause things to happen that randomly opened up things and caused other things to happen. That did not happen in the Predator movies. That did not happen in the Alien movies. In Predator, everything was incidental. In this first movie, the Marines, the Navy, or the Special Ops group shows up and gradually figures out that something is not quite right. In this movie, that is not what happens at all. In fact, nothing like that happens in this movie. It's just an assortment of silly characters who find their way down into a collapsed ruin and find out that basically there was like a tournament between aliens and predators. At least that's sort of what it seemed like they found out. And none of the characters are standout. They're so forgettable because they just don't have anything memorable to talk about. There's nothing like aliens in this movie. There's nothing like Alien. I think in retrospect it's sort of a letdown of a film because we all thought it was going to be like a continuation where this is going to be the contemporary cross-cut movie uh, where you have the Alien movies and the Predator movies amalgamate in this film, and instead that's not what happens. Instead, it's kind of a freaking mess, but it's hilarious what actually happens. And the aliens come out of hatching. They take over a few people. They come out of hatching. Of course, the Predator initiates all this, so it can have its little game. So it views the alien. Of course, the humans don't help themselves. In any movie involving these types of aliens, you have to have humans armed to the teeth with all kinds of automatic weapons. It doesn't matter if it's a research team or not. In a movie like this, it doesn't matter if it's a research team, they have to have automatic weapons. So we have a reason for the predators to hunt them. Because if they go down like a normal science team goes down, there's nothing for the predator. There's no reason for the predators to play the hunt with them. So instead, they gotta have a bunch of weapons with them. It's hilarious to watch. The biggest comedy is that the Predators supposedly went down in this thing without any acid-resistant equipment. Apparently, they didn't use simple things. Instead, all their equipment is made of things that common corrosion can hurt. So when the Predators are dealing with the aliens, of course, everything they're using is ineffective. They try to use the nets against the aliens, and of course, the aliens' blood goes right through the net. I was like thinking, did the Predators really not think? Do the predators who come down to this planet really not understand what the aliens are about? It doesn't seem like it makes a whole lick of sense. I don't know why the predators are as so stupid in this movie. I thought for sure they would know that this on their home is it on their homeworld that it's considered a disgrace if you actually use proper technique to deal with aliens. Instead, they gotta almost die trying to kill these things. I mean, they could have knocked out the aliens multiple times, but because almost all their equipment is corroded so easily, I was like thinking, are the predators just set up to be a society where you put yourself at risk immediately just because of the heck of it? I mean, this is an advanced race. This isn't a primitive society. This isn't some barbaric society lost in some African jungle or in India or South America. This is a highly advanced culture with laser guided equipment. So I don't understand why their equipment is easy to beat, easy to deal with. It should have been resistant. It should be made of materials that don't react with acid, more or less. What happens in this movie? Well, not a lot happens at all. In fact, all that really happens is that it's basically a setup for a sequel. Um, it is just so it's so comedic. There's not really a resolution in this movie except for the one. I think like one person actually gets out. It doesn't really mean anything. These movies did not go anywhere. They did not accomplish very much. Nonetheless, it's a comedy action movie, I would call it, because the characters are so stupid at times. And I swear they were not written specifically for that purpose. I thought they would do a bit better job of the writing, but the further away you get from the Alien versus Predator movies, the worse they actually get. Because at the time they seem contemporary, and now they just seem like a wash in their own silliness. Nonetheless, yeah, I wouldn't recommend this movie to anybody. It's pretty much a silly movie. Unless you want to watch a silly movie about aliens versus predators and humans in between, this is the movie for you because it is very very silly. It's not. It can't be taken seriously at all. It's got too many vague problems in it. Yeah.